Hello, everyone, and welcome back to this week's episode of the KeenGamer podcast. We are so happy to be here and talking about games with you all. Once again, I am joined by a fantastic panel. First of all, let me introduce Mark. How's it going today?
Hey Carl, hey Jessica. I'm all good, and hope you guys are well too.
Awesome.
Happy
Yeah,
to be
thank
here.
you. Jessica, welcome back to the show. How are you?
Thank you. I'm doing good, thanks. Excited to talk about more games.
Absolutely. Games is what we're here for. A lot of games to talk about. On this week's show, we're going to start the way we always do, talking about the games that we're currently playing. Then we'll segue into some news stories of the week. And to end the show, we are talking about the 2021 games that we are still looking forward to this year. There's only 2 months left in 2021, but there's still quite a few games that we're looking forward to, and we're all pretty eager to talk about as well. The first game we want to talk about this week is probably the newest one we have, and that's Mario Party Superstars. To begin, I'm the only one playing it on the panel right now, and up until this game's release, I was very ready to not buy this game. I feel like the past couple Mario parties have really either burnt me or disappointed me in vast ways, either through the mini games or how the game itself is played. But my partner decided to spontaneously buy Mario Party and bring it home, and I've been having a blast with it. I'm so glad that she brought it home. For people out there who don't know, Mario Party Superstars is essentially a nostalgic vehicle for old Mario Party fans. What they did is they grabbed 5 classic boards from the first 3 Mario Party games and have recreated and reimagined them for the modern game. And it also takes mini games, like specific mini games from Mario Party 1 through, I think, Mario Party 6 or 7 on the GameCube and puts them in there. What I'm really liking about it so far is that the nostalgia is just hitting so hard. I didn't realize how much I missed Mario Party 1, 2, and 3 until I saw some of these maps, including like there's a map on top of Peach's birthday cake, which is very fun. There's a Halloween Land, which is like a spooky kind of map. I'm just really surprised with how much I'm enjoying it. The biggest surprise, though, is I'm not playing a lot of offline. The online in Mario Party is actually really good. I haven't done any online parties yet, but I'm really enjoying playing mini games with people online.
So I just have to ask, as somebody who's never played Mario Party myself, I know you're a Nintendo guy and you've always been like that Nintendo guy, but
At parties,
what would,
yeah.
yeah, where I'm going with that. But what would you say to me if I was kind of on the fence about buying it? I've played party games before where you can compete with your friends, couch co-op style or whatever.
So
what would you say?
My biggest sell on this Mario Party package is that later Mario Party games, we'll say from Mario Party 4 to like honestly 10, they throw a lot of gimmicks into the Mario parties that often distracted from the fun. They'd add new twists or items. Like they're always trying to reinvent the Mario Party, but the originals is where it's at. It's almost like you can watch, just for example, you can watch the original Halloween movie and be a big fan of that, but not like the remake. Mario Party Superstars is like going back to the original of a franchise. It's not very complicated. It's very basic rules. You roll a dice between 1 and 10. You move that many spaces. You play a game. You steal stars from your friends. You ruin friendships. That's it. That's all you do. So the main appeal is that it's just the simplicity of it. There isn't a bunch of layers of, kind of bogus baloney that they're throwing in just to fill time. This is just a straight up board game that you play with friends. You grab a Joy-Con. Everyone has a pretty good time. It's not overly complicated, and that's why I'm really liking it so far. Because even the last Mario Party, the one on Switch, Super Mario Party, they added this thing where you can have partners on your journey. So say I'm playing Mario Party as Mario, I can land on a space and Monty Mole will join me. And now whenever I roll my dice, Monty Mole will also roll a dice and he'll add +1 or +2 to my roll. I can keep doing that, but that also makes it hard for accuracy. Like if I want to roll a 6, I can try. But if I roll a 6, Monty Mole rolls a 1 or a 2, then that means I'm moving an 8, which is not what I intended to do or fun.
Is it like easy to grab? Because I've played exactly one game of Mario Party in my whole life, and I had no idea what was going on.
It is very easy. There are like pretty informative tutorials at the beginning of each map. Each map has their own rules as well. On one of the ones, I don't know what it's called right now, but there's different paths you can go down, and between turns, the sign that lets you know if you can go left or right changes. So if you're playing on turn 1, you get to this branching path, you go left, but on turn 2, you have to go right. And these are very different paths with very different things that you'll find on them. One of them will also probably take you towards a star. One will take you very, very far away from the star, but also might have some other good things for you as well. So the tutorials are really fantastic. Like I said, it is the most simplistic Mario Party out there at the moment. So I think it's just going to be really easy to pick up and play, especially with holidays coming up like Thanksgiving and Christmas and everything else. This is going to be a really, really great success for Nintendo this time of year.
Well, like you said, simplicity is, I think, a big draw for this kind of game because you're going to be at Thanksgiving or Christmas with your family, and some of them might not necessarily be gamer orientated.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's a nice one to grab, I think. If yeah.
And I wanted to hop back into the online part because, well, like we've done, my partner and I have probably played 3 times together. Which, by the way, I'm winning 2-1 in that scoreboard. I'm sure she'll hear this and appreciate me saying that. But the online play is fantastic. So what you can do is there's a mode called survival mode, and everybody starts. It's you and 3 other players online, and you each play a mini game. Whichever one person wins that mini game advances to round 2. And then you're also kind of playing against people who have won one mini game in a different server or a different lobby. And you're playing these mini games until you lose. And once you lose, you're back down to 0, back down to the ground floor.
It kind of sounds like Mario Party Battle Royale.
It does. And it's actually almost reminiscent of like Fall Guys in a way as well, where you're playing these mini games, not with like 50 or 100 people, only with 3 others, but it's who can get to the finish line first, who can throw a dodgeball at the other team the fastest, like these very fun, quirky mini games. And there's global,
interesting to me.
Yeah, there's leaderboards as well. So you can see right now, I think the player in first place on survival mode has won 35 mini games straight without a defeat.
That's pretty insane.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
I probably played for like 5 hours. I've only lost connection once, which for a Nintendo game is pretty good actually, compared to like Mario Kart or Smash Brothers. So I'm really enjoying the online. I do have a couple negatives about the game, and I don't know if the negatives are coming up just because I'm used to the PS5 right now, but I'm getting really tired of load times in Nintendo games, especially ones that have me like looking around my room because I'm so bored waiting for the load time to go away. I'm like, oh yeah, that painting I have in my living room. Oh yeah, I'm gonna go make a snack. I have time for like a sandwich while this game loads. Maybe that'll be fixed in the future. I hope it does, because right now it's a pretty big complaint. And then I also hope that they add more maps and characters, because like I said, they added 5 different maps from the original 3 Mario parties, but there's still some really, really good maps from those games that aren't part of this package that would do really well in an update, either free or paid DLC. So I'm really enjoying it. I'm having a good time playing it by myself as well as playing it with my partner. I'm sure it'll come out during Christmas time. And I'll probably have some more thoughts as we go along as well. I just hope that Nintendo doesn't abandon this thing now that it's out, and hopefully they continue to support it with, you know, patches, updates, and even some more content would be good. So that's a wrap on Mario Party. Oh, go ahead. Yeah.
Yeah, I was just going to say, Nintendo seems to be pretty good about supporting things that might not necessarily be their mainline games. I mean, they supported the Wii U for a long time after all.
Well, the only reason I say I hope they support it is because the last Mario Party for Switch was Super Mario Party, which I think came out November 2018, is my guess. And that game had its first update less than a year ago when they added online play to it. So it took them about 2.5 years to add a 1.01 update to Super Mario Party. So I'm hoping they don't take too long on this one. And like I said, if they want to keep this game alive, they should probably be adding more maps, more characters, just like a slow drip for the next few months. So that's it for Mario Party Superstars. Hopefully more people play it. I think it's a lot of fun. Last week, Mark was talking about a game called Doom 3. And then this week, I noticed on our Google Doc about games you want to talk about, Jessica wants to talk about Doom 3. How'd that go?
Yeah, thanks, Mark. It was on his honorable mention for games to play at Halloween. And
Oh, good.
he Yeah, you really sold it to me, Mark. It does
I could
have
tell.
survival horror elements to it, which I really quite like, because even though you get like traditional Doom crazy, just go crazy and shoot at the demons, you get a lot of ammo, you get a lot of weapons, but it actually can run out really quickly. I thought I was going to have a little bit of trouble at it to begin with, because it's like Doom, it's just so fast paced. But this was a bunch of narrow corridors, like you said, you said it had a very Dead Space vibe. I got that from it. But it actually really works. I've got stuck a couple of times in corners, but it's really, really fun. And I just got the plasma rifle and the chainsaw, and it's just adds like times 10 to the fun.
Did you run into any of the serious? I had a few jump scares that I remember from it.
Yeah, like
so
going
they
around a
did pretty
corner.
well. Yeah.
Yeah.
It was-
No, go ahead.
No, there was also this one sequence I remember. There was one sort of creature climbing around in the roof, and you're working your way through this part of the level, and you're just not sure when it comes out. And eventually, it was quite nerve-wracking.
That sounds very Alien Isolation. I've not got that bit yet.
I have Doom 3 for the PSVR, and you guys are really talking me out of this one.
Oh, come on, Kyle.
I was too afraid to play Doki Doki this week. Like, I don't know. But I also recommended Res 7 as my scary game, so I don't know. Yeah. I have a weird spectrum for this stuff. It might be more of a question for Mark. Is there one specific thing about Doom 3 that makes it stand out from the other Dooms? Like one feature, one like key element?
Well, perhaps it was just a bit different from the others in that, in a way, I would say you can't really say it was more of a slow burn. It just had a completely different vibe where it did have that slight survival element to it, where the other Dooms, you're just this like crazy, you're the Doomslayer, you are going to just kill everything. Like, you don't really have that vibe with Doom 3, where it does have parts where it's like kind of scary. Like, demons aren't scary in the other Dooms. You just kill them, and that's it, Where
like
Doom
grunts.
3, yeah. Okay, I suppose you do get the occasional demon where they are quite intimidating in the other Dooms, like Eternal and the reboot. But I just had this, like I said, the slightly survival horror, a little bit of, working your way through dark, scary passageways where there's a jump scare waiting for you or something like that. Yeah, it just set it apart. And it's either love it or hate it. A lot of people didn't love it. So, yeah.
Did you play the edition? Because I didn't know this. I was talking to my brothers about it. It didn't originally have you being able to hold a weapon and a flashlight at the same time, because that's the way I'm playing it on Game Pass, the BFG edition. I looked it up, and you could only have a flashlight or a gun.
I think I did play the BFG edition. It was a while ago when I played it. It just stood out to me when I thought about like scary games,
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
or Halloween kind of games,
It definitely did. It definitely got me jump
it had some cool weapons as well, like okay. And there was also, have you got the Soul Cube or whatever it's called yet?
No.
Okay, yeah, you'll like that. I'd love to hear what you think about that.
I do love the chainsaw. Every Doom game has a great chainsaw, and this one's so
Chainsaws are so OP in Doom.
Yeah.
I was going to ask if you beat it, Jessica, but it sounds like you're still making your way through it.
Yeah, I had about 2 sessions with it. I'm about 4 or 5 hours into it. So no, I got the chainsaw last. Don't know how long it lasts for, but I'm having a real fun time.
That's awesome.
Just have to ask.
You plan on finishing it real quick? You plan on finishing the game?
Yeah, I'll definitely keep going with it. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Awesome. Sorry to cut you off, Mark.
Oh, no problem. I just wanted to ask, since I haven't played it in a while, how is it holding up in terms of like modern games and things like that?
Oh, well, like I said, it does get a little janky going through quarters because you're going so fast, but for the most part, it's fine. It's still really fun to go back to. It actually reminded me a lot. I think it was Quake 4 on the Xbox 360. It reminds me a lot of it. I still love going back to Quake 4. A bit too fast sometimes, but it's really fun just to go back to if you want a slightly more horror tinged Doom game.
Okay, well,
That's super.
glad you're
That's super exciting.
having fun with it.
Okay, I'm gonna have to start playing more of Mark's horror game recommendations. If this worked out so well for you, then maybe it'll work out for me.
Yeah.
I did recommend DDLC, but
Yes.
Okay, well, I'll talk a bit about what I've been playing this week. It has been a slightly slow week for me, but I did jump a little bit back into Pokemon Unite. They've got a whole bunch of new stuff going on, so I tried a few of the new characters that they've added in. And yeah, there's always that sort of stage where you have teething problems with a new champ. So I'm still kind of there where you get stomped and stomped and stomped until you really learn the ins and outs.
Is Greedent still the new character?
Yeah, Greedent's in there. They also, well, I don't know if he's the newest, but they've added Mamoswine, Sylveon, and maybe a couple others. Who knows? But I haven't actually tried Greedent yet, and I'm really curious to. But I haven't. I've got enough. I don't know what you call it, but let's say credit to buy him. But I haven't taken that plunge yet because it takes a while to build that stuff up, like any free-to-play game.
Mm-hmm.
But
yeah. I really wanted to get Blissey when she came out, or when they came out. I'm not sure if Blissey is always a female. But you're right. The amount of work it takes to earn in-game currency in Pokemon Unite is probably one of the reasons I haven't played it in like 3 weeks. Like, you are grinding and grinding just to get one character or like one skin or something like that. And right now, I just don't think I have the time to put into it to get a Squirtle or something,
Yeah, I hear you. I mean, it's one of those games where it's quite fun to play, and I'll jump in now and again just to see what's going on. But it does take quite a grind, and of course that's because it is a free-to-play game, so they want you to put something in there just to keep them going, and I'm sure a lot of people are. There's some very cool skins coming out, and they had a nice Halloween-type event going on. I forgot to mention that last week, but okay, it's still up at the moment, so you can jump into one of the maps, and it's all Halloween themed. There's pumpkins and things everywhere. You get a special item. All very cool. Which
I was watching my partner play, and at one point she turned into a pumpkin. I'm not sure what happened there, but somebody used like a spell on her, and then she was a pumpkin.
Yes, you do get turned into pumpkins, and it's not a great time. Let me just put it that way.
I've not played that mode actually. I was wondering. I was going to ask you, is it fun? I think it was in the quick stadiums, wasn't it?
Yeah, it's one of the quick games. It's just a 5-minute game, but yeah, it's pretty much the same as normal, but you can get turned into a pumpkin.
Oh, okay. What rank did either of you get to? I'm curious because I never got the master.
No, I never got the master
I didn't
either.
No, neither did I. I think I got to like great or something like that.
Okay. I was trying to get the ultra. I was very close. I got to veteran 5, and I just cannot get past it.
Yeah, I kept playing casual. Like I don't love ranked matches in any game almost. Like I put me in casual, put me in with like the other babies. I'm getting better. They're staying the same. So it works out for me just fine.
Yeah.
That's the spirit. Well, yeah. I can't say I'm no great shakes at Pokemon Unite or any MOBA really, but they are fun to play, and I like what they're doing with it. So I'm curious to see where it goes, and yeah, so far so good, I guess.
Yeah, I think Pokemon Unite is still on my top 10 games of the year, despite me not playing it for like the last maybe 5-6 weeks. But I put like 70 hours into it that first season. Like I was just playing it nonstop. Mind you, I was like listening to podcasts and music while I was playing it, so it was like a multitask game for me. But yeah, no, all the new stuff is very cool. But the more new stuff that comes out while I'm not playing it, the farther behind I feel. And unless they do like a free, like, hey, have 5,000 coin bonus or get a free Pokemon or something, then it'll be a while before I hop back in, probably.
Well, that's one of the biggest things about this type of game is they are quite a huge time sink. And with so many other great games coming out that we want to play, it's unless you're really committed to it, yeah, you're going to feel like a little baby. But it's still fun to jump in and play with other babies, I guess. Like
exactly. Yeah. When I'm looking at like games to play right now, I'm looking at like Guardian still. I'm looking at Death. Like I'm looking at games from this year. I still haven't played yet that I want to play, and those are taking priority over even like Animal Crossing or Pokemon Unite for me personally. But I did find time this week to beat a little game called Metroid Dread, which it took me longer than I wanted. I did stream the game, so I wasn't playing it. I didn't play it off air once. I only played it while I was on online, doing like 2 to 3 hour sessions per episode. I love this game. This is a really good game. Even if you haven't played a Metroid before, you should go play Metroid Dread.
Well, I have been curious to hear more about it since we spoke about it in, I think, the first podcast we did together. And
Yeah.
It's taken you a while, but like you said, you've been playing it, been streaming it the whole time. So it does tend to draw things out. You're not just sitting for long sessions on your own. And
I feel like one of my main takeaways, like one of the main thoughts I've been kind of sitting on and thinking about is since the last Metroid Fusion back in like 2001, 2002, there's been a whole genre. When we talked about some of these games, the Metroidvania genre, there's been so many of these kind of games coming out trying to replicate the Metroid formula. And Metroid comes out swinging 20 years later, and like they mastered it. Like they know what they're doing, obviously. But I still feel like it's not even a Metroidvania. It's just a Metroid. There are so many games who have tried to imitate this game design style, but none of them can beat the king. Is what I realized. Like even something like Ori, which I love Ori so much. It's still a different kind of game than a Metroid. It still is different enough that it feels unique. But I also think it's incredible that Metroid Dread has come out and it didn't take any ideas from its clones over the years. Like it's not like Metroid Dread came out and it feels like Axiom Verge. It doesn't feel like I'm playing Ori. It doesn't feel like anything else. And that's really impressive that it stands alone so well today.
Would you recommend it to me? I'm ashamed to say I've only played I think it was Other M, the Metroid game, and I really didn't like it.
No, well that's okay. You're not supposed to like that game.
Okay.
Yeah, I was about to say, isn't that the Metroid that nobody's supposed to like?
Yeah, I really shouldn't have started there. It was the first mistake.
That's like the story base. Like they try and fill in like a bunch of gaps from Metroid or Samus's timeline. They're like, oh, I bet you wondered why she does this one thing, and they give you a half an hour backstory. It's like I didn't care why she did that one thing. That's fine though.
Yeah.
I would recommend Dread for anybody because there is a really nice catch up at the beginning of the game that lets you know the events of the 4 games before it. Because while Metroid Prime exists, they are not part of the canonical Metroid timeline. Essentially, you're looking at Metroid 1 for NES, Metroid 2 for the Game Boy, Super Metroid, and Metroid Fusion, and then Metroid Dread is the 5th game in this collection or series. But they do catch you up at the beginning.
Is there much of a story, or is it just more about the gameplay?
There's the most story in Dread, I would say, between cutscenes that happen to dialogue that happens, voice acting throughout the game, which is way more than we got in Fusion, the latest Metroid game. I just want to just kind of like list off all the things I loved about Dread. The boss fights were amazing. Every single one was unique and had my heart racing. And if you want, I'll do a little plug. Twitch at Shamakai. Watch me have a heart attack while I face that last boss for an hour. It was fun. But the boss fights, of course, are very old school in that they're attacking you with these patterns, and it's up to you to recognize the patterns and know how to dodge them. There's not a single attack in this game that is undodgeable. There is a way to avoid damage at all times. You just have to figure out what corner to hide in or what attack to use to deflect the one being used against you. There's even this like really cool moments during boss fights where it almost becomes cinematic. You're still doing button inputs. There's visually a lot happening on screen. Like, I don't want to spoil anything. I want it to be a little spoiler free. So if you do play it, Jessica, or anyone else listening, you go in not knowing what to expect from this thing. But boss fights could take you from like one side of the map to the other and then back again to where you started. Like you are doing this really almost like, I don't want to say Metal Gear Revengeance because that's too much of an exaggeration, but you're doing these like almost quick time events and they're very flashy, very stylized, very cool to watch happen. And they just make you feel tough and they make you feel good about doing it. And the entire game does a good job of just making Samus one of the best, I think, characters in games. Like she's had a long, tough story she deals with PTSD. She deals with like the loss of her family, which is not a spoiler. That just is off-screen stuff that happens. But she's such a strong, heroic female character, and for her to be like one of the first ones in like 1986 or 1987, and she's still killing it today, is just so impressive. I do have a couple negatives. Like this game is not perfect, I will say. One of the things, even up to the last minute of the game, there are so many weapons that they give you, and they're all mapped to different buttons on your controller. It gets really hard to remember which button does what, especially when some weapons to use will require you to hold R, press R, and then tap Y. Like there's some really weird button twist or finger twister you're doing on your controller to do all this stuff. And bosses don't give you a break to look at your controller and figure it out. They'll charge at you, and you have to figure out how to shoot ice or whatever right away.
Well, yeah, that's one of the things that I think would be a stumbling block when you put a game down for, I don't know, a couple of weeks or a month or two, which I've done at times. With something new and exciting will come out. I'll jump into that, and then I try to play this great game, and I just don't know how to play it anymore. I did play a bit of Metroid this week as well, but not Metroid Dread. I played a bit more Super Metroid, which is a game I really love going back to, and I haven't beaten it yet. So, yeah, shock horror, whatever. But yeah, that's one of the things I struggled with was some of the like finding the right weapons and things. I suppose it's a lot more simple than what we've got now with Dread. I haven't played it yet, but yeah, that kind of resonates a bit with me after playing a bit more.
And it's kind of like one of my plus points as well, because like you guys know, I've been playing like 2 hours of this game a week. But whenever I picked it up after 3 or 4 days of not playing it, I was able to quickly figure out what my next destination was. I was able to like remember I have the grappling hook, I have the bombs, I have this power up. Like you can find that stuff. And even like 4 or 5 days between play sessions, I was able to pick up, be like, I'm going to Ice World, I'm going to Fire World, I'm going to this place. So even though like my brain and like whatever had moved away from the game, whenever I came back to it, I was just in the zone and ready to go. Where I feel like even like Super Metroid, you put that game down for 3 days, come back to it, you're like, oh, I'm in the purple area. Now I have to go back to the orange area, I think. And you go to orange, find out you're wrong, have to go all the way back to purple area. There's a lot less backtracking in Dread than there are in previous Metroids, which really helps it out, I think.
Well, I would say fortunately, I'm playing it on Switch where you do have like save states essentially. And I suppose that is kind of like cheating. It feels like cheating. It really does. But, like I think I'd saved right outside of a boss door or something. And yeah, I'd been struggling with this boss, but I jumped in, I think last night and made quick work of it, which felt good. I was like, I'm the man, and carry on with my life. And I'm looking forward to hopefully finishing it this time around.
Yeah, I really hope. Like, I think there is actually. I think Nintendo put a demo out for Dread on Halloween Day, which is very weird that they put a demo out for a game 3 weeks after it was already released. But if you guys are looking at or thinking about trying it, get the demo, and I think it's maybe the first half an hour to hour of the game. Minus the controls. The other thing I wanted to kind of nitpick and shout out is I think Metroid has some of the most iconic music in video games. I also think Metroid has one of the best like got item sounds, like when you find a new thing and it's do 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 do. Metroid Dread I think kind of disappoints in the music department. The only things that were really iconic were songs that were riffs of previous Metroid songs. Most of the original music was not as catchy or rememberable as previous Metroid games. So I ding it a couple marks for that as well. I feel like the music has always helped Metroid create atmosphere, and it more so just existed in Dread than actually adding any weight to the situation I was in. And one last thing, I think it probably has the best moment in a game this year for me personally in the last 30 minutes. I don't want to spoil it, but that last, like from the last boss fight to credits, a lot happens, and all of it had me like, I feel like a 6-year-old watching like Pokemon on TV again. I was just so excited, running around in circles, like this is crazy. I love this so much. So, like I said, I love this game. I don't think it's going to be number 1 or 2 on my list of the year, but I loved it a lot.
How long is it? Well, I suppose
Um,
like how you handle it, but just
yeah.
generally.
So it's a little tough for me because I'd leave my Switch on while I was doing like stream prep stuff. So I don't know how accurate my playtime was, but it was around 10 hours.
It's
And
not
that
too
was
bad.
and that was for I think I got like just over 50% item completion. So I did not like I got the essentials. I did not do a lot of extra adventuring to find missile packs and stuff. So roughly 10 hours, but it really, really encourages replayability. You unlock hard mode after your first playthrough. So if you had a good time the first time and you want a harder challenge, you can go right back in with a harder difficulty and try it again.
Judging from what you've been saying, I think I will at least download the demo and see
Yeah,
how it goes.
100%. I think it's great that they dropped this demo because Metroid is, typically not one of Nintendo's biggest franchises. But by releasing a free product that people can at least try, they can get a feel if this is something for them or not.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I've had that experience with demos that have either. Sometimes it makes me want to play the game, but I'll be honest, more often than not, I've played a demo and I've been like, well, yeah, this is cool, but I've actually had enough just playing the demo. So hopefully Metroid isn't the same because I really like the idea of Dread and I'd like to play the game. So I'll definitely be checking that demo out and hopefully not.
And one of the I didn't even talk about like the Emmys in Dread, which are like one of the big unique things about this one, where you're being stalked by these robotic creatures. I know people didn't love it. I really enjoyed it. I thought that was some of the most tense and fun parts of the game. Was either in an Emmy escape sequence or in a sequence where you're taking down an Emmy after being chased by it for 2 hours or whatever. Like, it's very satisfying. It's like finally killing the bad guy at the end of the movie. It's like redemption. It's a good feeling. I do think the demo will take you through at least the first Emmy encounter, so you will get a taste of that if you try out the demo. So those are my thoughts on Metroid Dread. I thought about playing it as soon as I finished it, but unfortunately, stuff like Guardians is still on my queue, so I'll go back to it before the end of the year for sure. I just need some time apart from it. Jessica, you've also been playing a game that I had to look up because I had not heard of it, called Moonglow Bay. Can you tell us a little bit more about this one?
Yep. So I've been playing Moonglow Bay because it came out day one, I believe, on Xbox Game Pass, and it looked like another, like wholesome cutesy indie game. So I give it a go, and that's exactly what it is. You play it's like got like Minecraft like graphics, and like a little top down view, and you are playing as somebody who goes fishing with your partner originally.
Are they fishing in Canada? I think I just read that this game
Yes,
takes place in
yeah.
Canada.
I forgot about that. Yeah, in Canada, you've got a
Go
few
Canada.
little Canadianisms, if that's a word.
Yeah, here they are.
Yeah, you'd be able to point them out more than me, but
For sure.
yeah, yeah, it's a cute little game. You go fishing. The basic mechanics are you fish, you cook the meal, you sell the meal, you earn enough money to like invest in businesses and houses around the town to try and make it come all back together again. One weird thing right at the beginning of the game, I don't know if it would be considered a spoiler or not, but it's like literally the first minute. They're good for you. You pick your pronouns, you pick your picture, and you need to pick your partner's picture and your partner's pronouns, and then they die. Like just
what?
Yeah, they just
Okay.
like they die in a fishing incident. And then the game takes place 3 years later, and I was like, okay, well, I guess you got me invested by letting me pick all that and then killing them.
Oh wow.
Like
Okay.
like most relationships, you choose their pronoun and then they're gone. Like, I don't know.
It was very strange. But I'm guessing like a game like Lake I played earlier on in the year, it takes this stuff, and then it obviously will have a nice storyline going through it because your daughter's there. She's came back after you're starting this fishing business up again. But yeah, apart from that, really strange bit at the beginning, which I didn't know it was going to happen. It is a cute game. It's something I think people would like if they wanted to put a podcast on in the background and just lose themselves in this fishing mini game.
Well, from what I've seen of this game, and I've just watched pretty much the trailer, it sounds like the soundtrack's quite charming as well, and there's all kinds of different fishing that I'm seeing going on here, like ice fishing and deep sea
Yes.
fishing, and
So
Yeah.
they've got different regions, I believe, but I haven't got to. I saw there was an ice one you could go to and get different fish and do slightly different things. I just haven't got to that yet. It does have a little side mission thing, but it's basically just more fishing. It's like fish for this person because they want this, and there is a main storyline going on as well.
Are you interacting with a lot with like the NPCs? Like, are there like unique characters that you're kind of forming relationships with, or is that more of a not as important in this game?
Yeah, they do have it, but I haven't. Maybe if I played it a little more, you'd get a bit more with it. But I see a random, like they're all named characters anyway around, and they all do have their own little personalities. But as far as I've played, they're just there to give you like, oh, can you cook this for me? Can you fish this for me?
There isn't like a romance system. You're not trying to find a new partner, are you? You're not like
I
trying
don't
to.
think so this is something I
That'd be
also
weird.
appreciated. You play an older couple as the beginning, so it's just about I think you trying to recover after this 3 years later incident of your partner dying, and exploring that grief as well as just having this cutesy little mini game. Yeah.
And you're still playing it? You haven't beat it yet. You're still kind of just casually playing it.
Yeah, I'm actually very early in. So, like Mark was saying, there was different regions and stuff. I haven't even really been to the ice region, which I've seen. But you can kind of, once you get your boat, go wherever you want. If you wanted to collect all the fish and you get a nice little journal.
Yeah, and this time of year too, where like winter's coming, it's getting colder. You're gonna want to be under a blanket playing more cozy games. Something like this just seems like kind of perfect for like a morning or an evening by a fire, or just like candles lit, just getting really cozy with Moonglow Bay.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, well, sounds super charming, and yeah, I'd like to possibly try it out. It gives me kind of slightly Stardew Valley kind of vibes. I suppose the graphics are very different, but it does have that kind of similar charm and draw to me as that kind of game where you are investing in a small town and bringing it back to life in a way.
Yeah, I also thought Stardew Valley when I first saw this, and I asked Jessica. But neither of us have played Stardew Valley, so we didn't know if it was or not.
I would say so.
Yeah,
as a big fan myself.
It actually it almost reminds me of I reviewed earlier this year a game called Garden Story for KeenGamer. You play as a little grape named Concord, and you're trying to help this little village out. It kind of reminds me of that title. I think there's only one game left to talk about, and it's not even really a talking thing. I need to vent about a game called Persona 5 Royal, real quick.
Let's hear it.
Yeah, so around this time last year, November 2020, I looked at my shelf of games and thought, what game should I start playing? And Persona 5 Royal, which I guess base Persona 5 came out 2017. I was like, you know what? There's a lockdown, there's a pandemic. I got so much time. I'm going to start Persona 5 Royal. And it's been like a slow go. I've been playing it with my partner, so I only play it when we're both at the house available to watch me play it. So what makes Royal different from the base game is that it includes a new character for your party, as well as a whole new semester of school for your character to attend to and create more social links. I don't know why I assumed in this game that would just happen automatically. I didn't realize that you had to earn the Royal content in the game. So last week, I played and beat Persona 5. My save file, I think, says 105 hours on it. And then credits rolled, and I was back to the main menu. And I was like, wait a minute, wasn't there like a whole like post game, like 20 hours of extra content in this game? And I guess in Persona 5 Royal, there's a teacher that you need to make a bond with, and you need to max out that bond by, I think it's like November 1st in game or something. I didn't realize this. I had like a 4 or 5 star connection with this guy, and then he was like, all right, I'm leaving the school. Bye, everyone. I had no idea that I had to get this guy maxed out to unlock the DLC content I really wanted to play. And now I'm in a situation where I have to replay Persona 5, possibly another 40 to 60 hours, because this is endgame stuff. Like the Royal stuff happens near the end of the game, not after the credits like I imagined or assumed, but it adds another 20 hours of gameplay before the end of the game. So I'm torn. I'm like, do I put this game on the shelf and come back to it in 5 years? Do I just start fresh? There is New Game Plus, so I am stronger than you would be at the beginning of a new save or a new playthrough. but that's still 6 dungeons, a whole school year. I got to rebuild all my social connections. Those all reset with the new game plus. This is more of a PSA to anyone out there. If you're going to play Persona 5 Royal, they don't tell you this in game, but be best friends with the school psychiatrist if you want the royal content that you paid for.
So let me get this straight. You played the whole game and didn't get the bonus content. Well, JRPGs, tripping over my words here. JRPGs tend to be quite lengthy, and Persona is one of those series I've always wanted to pull the trigger on, so I don't know much about it, but yeah, that sounds like quite a burn. I'd be second guessing myself about going back in right away. I'd probably put it on the shelf personally and come back to it. Like, I love you, but I don't want to talk to you right now.
I love you, but I need some space right now.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah, and like I said, if the game would have, like, maybe it did and I forgot, because like I said, I started this game last year, 105 hours of playtime, and I've been doing like 5 hours a week or whatever. So maybe it did say, if you want that royal content, better be best friends with your school psychiatrist. I forgot. And even like as the time is winding down for you to have the chance to do that, there's no like nudge, nudge. Hey, just so you know, you have only 10 more days if you want to play the royal content, like 20 to 30 hours of exclusive content for this game. So anyway, it's still out by my TV. I'm still looking at it with like my eyes half open, just like glaring at it. It was my first Persona 5 experience. Like, not Persona 5, it's my first Persona. So I'm just feeling a little bit burnt by the whole thing. And I really wish.
Like such a dumb way to implement that. Like,
yeah, because I feel like most DLC would take place after the main campaign. That was my assumption. And then maybe I'm stupid for thinking that, but I assumed it would take place after the main campaign. But yeah, no, it's there is a way to fast forward text, so I don't have to go through every conversation, but I still would have to do every single dungeon, every boss fight, all the cutscenes. So
build up your collection again. If you're the demons, they're called.
Yeah, exactly. Actually, I think those carry over. Those carry over with New Game Plus. So I'm very strong right now, and I could hypothetically take down bosses like 1-hit, 2-hit KOs kind of thing. But even if I fast forward, it's like if a movie is 105 hours long and you fast forward it and it's half the time, that's still another 50 hours of my life I need to replay just to see the new content that I missed the first time around.
Are you tempted to maybe just go on YouTube and have a little look?
I am. I don't get the same experience watching somebody play something as like if the controller is in my own hand and I'm experiencing it. I don't watch a lot of Let's Plays for that reason, unless it's like PT or something that I A, am too scared to play, or B, don't have access to play it. But I'm just like really torn right now. Like I feel like one arm's being pulled, being like, replay me, and the other arm's like, put this game away, man. Like you have 8 other JRPGs that are calling your name right now. You don't have time for this. So that's my Persona 5 Royal rant. I hope people enjoy this game. I know people love this game. I just walked away feeling very, very bitter when I found out that I had not flushed away, but like missed an opportunity to get amazing content that I've heard nothing but great things about.
But otherwise, did you enjoy the game? Like,
I
besides...
did. Persona 5 is a really good game. Like it gets so much kudos from everyone, and it deserves the kudos, from the music to the characters. I do think it gets a little bit convoluted in the end. I feel like it throws too many things against the wall. But the first 80 to 90 hours of that game was a joy to play through. So I'll update you guys next week and let you guys know if I'm playing it still. For all you know, like I'll be like, oh no, I burned it. I just threw it into a fire. Like I couldn't look at it anymore. So that's it for games we're playing. It's kind of a slow news week this week, but there are still some very, very interesting things happening, especially as the year comes to an end. The first thing we want to talk about, and I'll probably refer to Jessica on this because we were talking pre-show, and she seems like she knows quite a bit about the kind of what's happening here. Amy Hennig, who is mostly known for being a writer and director for Uncharted games. She's working with Skydance Studio for I believe like a game development studio, because Skydance is typically known for movies like Mission Impossible. I think they're doing the new Top Gun movie. And I think they released the Walking Dead Saints and Sinners game for VR. But it was recently announced this week that their second game they're working on is going to be a Marvel project. So we've had Marvel's Avengers this year, and we both talked about it last week. We had Guardians of the Galaxy, but sounds like there's another Marvel game coming to us from one of the creators of Uncharted. Is that exciting for you, Jessica?
It sounds like a perfect game. I just think it's a perfect like marrying of people. Like Amy Hennig is known for like Jack and Daxter, Uncharted. She did the Legacy of Kain games as well for Crystal Dynamics. Like she has really good story, character driven games. And she pointed that out in the press release for it as well, saying that she wanted to tell like a very human story like Marvel does well. So they haven't released who it's gonna be, but I have faith in her completely.
I always credit her for like her story and her character skills. Like she's really good at developing an interesting story that doesn't feel like a copy and paste of something else. It always feels slightly original. And then her characters, like I feel like the way that she, do you know which Uncharted she worked on specifically, or no? Was she on
She
all three?
worked she worked a little bit on 4 as well before she left, but before
Okay.
that, yeah, she was the creative lead and
Yeah.
writer on 3 of them. Yeah.
Like when I look back on my playthrough of Uncharted, I almost don't even think about the gameplay anymore. I'm like the characters and the moments. That's what really stands out to me from the Uncharted series. So to have her working on a Marvel project, that'd be pretty cool. The question is though, what Marvel project could it be?
Yeah,
Mark,
I'm
any
interested to hear both of yours. Yeah.
yeah, Mark, any guesses on like a creative behind Uncharted working on a Marvel game? What could that Marvel game be?
I'll tell you, I have no idea. To be very honest with you, yeah, I'll leave that one up to you guys to speculate about.
Who would
I
you
might
like
chip in with.
to see?
Oh well, we've had some interesting games from Marvel and characters. I suppose we've had. Oh wow, I have no idea. Like that's if I had to choose, I'd like to play as a villain for a change, but that's me. Yeah, I can't.
I didn't even think about that. I wrote down like possible heroes you could play as. I didn't think about like the idea of like playing as like a Loki or like
Exactly.
yeah.
I
I'll go
can't think of
yeah.
anyone like off the top of my head. There's so many Marvel heroes, and well, they didn't say it's a hero game, so
Mhm. I
like
had
to
a
hear
couple
what you guys.
ideas. Yeah, I had a couple ideas written down, and when I thought about this, I was like, it's probably going to be not group based. It's not going to be like an Avengers or Guardians. It's probably going to be more focused on a singular character, like Uncharted is, with more of like a supporting cast of characters around them. So I was thinking maybe Thor. I wonder if they could make a good Thor game these days. I don't know what the gameplay looks like. I don't know what the story looks like, but I do wonder if that's possible. And then my other thing was maybe Black Widow.
I thought
I
that
think that
too.
I think you can do a Black Widow game in the style of an Uncharted with the same story beats and the same kind of action sequences. Maybe she's not killing like 900 dudes per game like Nathan Drake does sometimes, but
Yeah, I was thinking someone more like Earth based because
mhm.
like she can draw on her experiences from Uncharted and do like really good action. Like I have Black Widow. Or I thought even maybe Shang-Chi. Like I thought that would be really
Oh,
cool.
that'd be cool.
Action game. Yeah.
I also had Black Panther written down, but they just did that Black Panther DLC for the Avengers game, and I know it didn't sell well, but I don't think that's the DLC's fault. I think that's the base Marvel Avengers game to blame
Yeah.
for like the poor sales. So I also like Black Widow or Black Panther are kind of my top two for what this could be.
Yeah. I'm actually interested in your idea of Thor because I've played some of Marvel's Avengers, and he's my favorite character. I
Yeah.
actually think he controls really well. Like he's cool. So someone with Amy Hennig's pedigree going in and taking that character would be really cool. And you're right about the cast of characters. I didn't really think of that. She is very good for that. So having somebody with interesting characters around them as well would be very good.
Well, even if you have Thor the game, and then you have like the family dynamics of him and Loki, the same way that you have
Yeah.
Nathan and Sam in Uncharted
Yeah.
4, right? Like I think that you could do a lot of really cool things with Asgard. He goes to Earth. Like the environments are there, the characters are there. I just don't know what that story is. What Thor story, unless we're doing like Frog Thor, like we're doing like the Frog Thor comic arc in games. I'm in.
Yeah, I'm into
Well,
it.
yeah, I was just seeing a lot of speculation online about, as there would be, but some of the ideas I'm seeing online that people are talking about are Fantastic Four, and another one was Ant-Man, which is a bit of a strange one for me. Not one of the more popular Marvel superheroes. So
But you could
never
probably
know,
do
I
something.
guess.
You could do something really cool with Ant-Man, I bet.
I think so too. Yeah.
I can see it in my head. I don't know how like gameplay wise it works for like a whole 8 to 10 hour thing, but the idea of being like in a room and then being able to shrink down to examine like every corner of that room or find secrets or collectibles or that could be really fun actually. Like Guardians, instead of using like your team commands on Rocket, you're just commanding ants to, smush people and stuff. I'd be down for that. But
Yeah, and of everything we've mentioned, actually, Ant-Man's probably the most unique use
yeah.
of like video gamey idea to do. It's interesting.
Yeah, definitely. I like your idea about Shang-Chi though. I think that'd be really cool, and that character deserves a lot of hype, especially as one of the newest MCU characters. In a game with him in it, I think would really help. I was hoping to see an episode of him in What If this year, but we didn't get that, so maybe season 2. But we won't know more about that for probably quite a while, but that's just very exciting to know that Marvel hasn't given up on the games industry yet. Obviously, Guardians did really well for them. I don't know if they expected it to do as well as it is doing, but they're going to keep making games, which I think is very exciting. The next topic that we have, there's a little game called Elden Ring that has been, talked about for 3 or 4 years as the collaboration between From Software Studios and George R.R. Martin from Game of Thrones. This week, they dropped a 20-minute gameplay trailer for this game. And do you guys just want to wake me up when February is here? Like, do you guys just like send me a nudge or something? Because this game looks great and I want to play it right now.
I tend to agree with you there, Kyle. It really does look like the Souls-like that we've been waiting a long time for. Yeah, a lot of people thought, wow, we heard nothing about Elden Ring for a long time, so we kind of thought, it's not happening anymore. But now that it's actually happening, I really can't wait either. And there's so much to talk about in the gameplay trailer. I don't even know where to start.
Let me start with, I just want to find out, Mark, what is your history with FromSoft? And then I'll ask Jessica after. Have you played all the games, some of the games?
Personally, I pretty much stuck to the Dark Souls series. I didn't really get into Sekiro. I'd kind of been soulsed out at that point. And what was the other one that came out?
Bloodborne?
Yeah, Bloodborne. No, I did play a bit of Bloodborne, but I'm sure you've kind of picked up on it in our last few podcasts together, is I've never really been much of a PlayStation guy. So, of course, that's a Sony exclusive. And as much as I would have loved to get into that, I did enjoy what I did play of it. Yeah, like I didn't really have much time with it, but I have played all 3 mainline Dark Souls games and probably put an embarrassing amount of time into them. And I really love the style of game. So yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing what this has to offer.
What about you, Jessica? Do you have a lot of experience with these FromSoft games?
No, not really. I've tried. I did like Bloodborne. I feel like a little bit of a cliche. I like horror, and Bloodborne is the one I like, but it
very like Lovecraftian, right?
Yeah, it had a really cool like Victorian horror vibe going on with it. So I think that kept me going with Bloodborne, but I'm just awful at them. Like I am really bad.
So it sounds like Mark has played the most, Jessica's played the least, and I'm probably right in the middle. Sekiro was my first one of these. Something about I love anything Eastern influenced, like anything with like cherry blossoms or just like Asian history. I think it's just so fascinating. So to have Sekiro stem from those roots caught me. And that is probably the hardest game I've ever played and beaten. There are bosses that took me over a day. One boss particularly took me, I think, 2 or 3 days to master and take down.
That's nothing. I still haven't defeated like the 4th boss in Bloodborne. I spent like weeks on it.
I think my partner is probably similar to you, where she has maybe 20 hours in Bloodborne and has not taken down the first like big boss yet.
Yeah, I will always remember. It first came out and I got it for my birthday. I think, what was it, like 5, 6 years ago that came out?
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah. My housemate went to work and did a full shift and came back, and I still hadn't cleared the section I was in. It wasn't even a boss. I found it really tough at the beginning.
Yeah, that's brutal. So I played Sekiro, and I got Demon's Souls with my PS5 on launch day. So I did play through Demon's Souls this year. I played it like the cowardly way with magic. I just like stood in the corner of a room away from a boss and just like shot fireballs at it for half an hour till its health bar drained. So I've not played Dark Souls or Bloodborne personally. Those are my gaps. But from what I'm seeing from this Elden Ring trailer, it seems like they're kind of taking elements from all of the games they've made before and putting it into this one. Whether it's like the open worldness that Sekiro provided, which is more of like a non-linear adventure, to some of the character design reminds me of Bloodborne, where it's very like watching things move in this trailer makes me uncomfortable. At one point in the trailer, your character's in the woods, stealthing by a giant creature working on a tree or something, and it just looks like it's going to be terrifying the way that a Dark Souls or Bloodborne was, and Sekiro was not really a scary game per se. Yeah, like I said, it looks like a combination of all their games combined. The bosses, they show a boss fight at the very end of the trailer, and that's going to be the guy who I spend 2 days taking down. There's like a dude with like 20 arms growing out of his back, and he seems to wield like a bunch of different weapons. And I'm already like so looking forward to being in that arena and learning his moveset the same way for like Metroid Dread, where you're going into boss fights, you're learning attack patterns, you're conquering attack patterns by the end. What about this game has you the most excited, Jessica? If it's exciting you at all, I'm not even sure if this is on your radar of games to play.
It's a bit of a weird one. I was excited about it because George R. R. Martin was doing the lore, and I am a Game of Thrones fan, so I was excited for that, and that it was maybe doing something a little bit different than Dark Souls, because I don't know, the aesthetic of Dark Souls I didn't really get into. I think that's why I didn't try too hard with it. So I was a bit excited, but then after the trailer, I'm probably opposite of you two. I'm like, this kind of looks like a little bit like Dark Souls, a bit too much for me. But I do appreciate that they've added like quality of life stuff, like waypoints. I don't think they've ever had waypoints, and like mounts. And I agree, the bosses do look very cool. But I'm not sure I'll pick this one up on launch. I think I'll have to wait for reviews for this one.
Yeah, you're right. I was talking about all the things from the old games that it's bringing back to this one, but in terms of the new things it's doing, like being able to ride on horseback, being able to travel faster than on foot, it's going to be very nice. Also, the horse can double jump, which sure, why not? Mark, what are you looking forward to with the Elden Ring?
Well, I think I'm on the opposite end of the spectrum from Jessica, where I am not a Game of Thrones fan at all, but I love Dark Souls. And I guess just getting back into something fresh from software, first of all, because the style of game, I would say it did wear on me a bit, but this does look fresh and interesting enough. And yeah, like the open world dynamic. Okay, you did say they had a bit of that in Sekiro, which I kind of skipped out on, but that kind of thing. And yeah, just seeing what it has to offer and the lore, and maybe by the end of it, I'll be interested in Game of Thrones. That'll
just get into the books. Like don't invest yourself in the TV show. If you're going to get into Game of Thrones, pick up the books and just commit yourself to those. Because
what are you talking about? He'll never get to the end.
I know
he's never writing that book.
Winds of Winter is never coming out.
No.
One last thing about the trailer. I think a trailer is effective and good when it makes you want to go back and enjoy the previous content from even like a movie trailer. Like the new Matrix movie is coming out soon, and I really want to go back and watch all three Matrix movies again, even though I don't like them that much. But there's still a part of me that wants to go, because that trailer for Matrix is so good. Elden Ring, as soon as I saw the trailer, I was like, yo, I need to install Bloodborne. I need to go play Dark Souls finally. Like I really got the FromSoft bug after watching Elden Ring. And fortunately, I won't have to wait that long, because I do believe the game is set to release February 25th, 2022. So we are about 4 months away from everyone on the internet talking about Elden Ring, which will be very exciting for some of us. We have another news article. I don't know too much about this. I know Microsoft is doing a lot behind the scenes, but it was announced this week that Xbox and Sega are going to, and I'm going to quote, create a strategic alliance to kind of help each other in the gaming industry. Sega has been making games for a very, very long time. They have a lot of industry secrets. Microsoft has a lot of the tech stuff. They have cloud-based gaming. They have great online services. So I think they're going to try and work together to create amazing online games that you can use the cloud for. Is there anything else from this news article that stuck out to you guys?
I looked a little bit more into it because I don't know about you two, but I read this and I was like, what the hell does this mean? what's a strategic alliance? It looks like Sega are going to be using like you said, cloud-based stuff, but server-based stuff as well from this. I think it's Xbox Azure or Microsoft Azure. Apparently, I forgot about this, but 2 years ago, actually, Sony and Xbox teamed up to use the same sort of cloud and server Azure stuff. So I think it just must be like a very good, like industry standard cloud-based system. But I've seen also people speculating, and I kind of agree that Sega and Xbox were rumored to have some sort of collaboration. So I think maybe we'll see more like Sega games coming to Game Pass as well because of this. Like maybe they've worked out some sort of deal.
Yeah, like my biggest concern when I read this is that I hope Xbox isn't planning on buying Sega, because Sega owns like Atlas. They own some really good third-party companies as well, and it'd be a shame if stuff like Persona or Shin Megami Tensei, which is coming out very soon, became Xbox exclusive games.
Yeah.
So if they're working on a partnership that does not mean any exclusivity on either end, that's cool. I mean, next thing you know, Sonic could be the new Master Chief. He could be Microsoft's new icon. We're getting close to that happening.
Yeah, I hope it is just like Game Pass stuff and not we've bought Sega now and we own everything.
Yeah, and like you never know, like for Persona 6, which they could be working on, they could want to have some sort of online element to that game that they can't provide themselves. Because Microsoft is more than a gaming company, they have the computers, they got phones, they got everything. The cloud is so integral to them as a company that they've invested so much money into making it as good as it can be. That's why companies that only do video games are going to Microsoft for this support. Nintendo doesn't have cloud software that works as well. Sony doesn't have cloud software that works as well. Microsoft is probably the best in the business, and Sega probably has some really, really big ideas about what they want to do in the future with online content and stuff like that. It looks interesting. We'll wait and see. Mark, do you have any thoughts?
Well, one thing sprung to mind. I'm not sure what happened with it, but Sega was talking about some sort of concept that they had that was kind of related to cloud gaming, and they kind of coined this term fog gaming. And I think it had something to do with I think they still have a lot of quite a big footprint in Japan with their arcade cabinets and things like that. So maybe it's some kind of background technology like you mentioned. I personally don't think it's going to boil down to any major exclusivity or anything like that. Maybe there will be some borrowed IP here and there. Maybe they'll work together on an actual game, but I think it's probably more of a tech thing that will be kind of felt but not really consciously by gamers. It's not going to be like a Sonic is in the new Halo or whatever. But
oh no.
You know where I'm going with that. I'm not speaking like literally, but
imagine Master Chief though, like using his grappling hook on Sonic and then just like his like face dragging on the dirt as Sonic's running away from him.
Yeah, nothing like that.
Halo Infinite, anything's possible.
I guess so. Yeah.
When I think of like the exclusivity thing and like how like what could Microsoft buy that would make it their own? Like Sega right now is making mostly Yakuza games and Yakuza spin-off games, as well as like Persona and stuff, which those franchises actually started on PlayStation. Yakuza was originally Sony only in Japan. Same with Persona, that's only on Sony consoles. I don't know what Sega IP Xbox could possibly buy and inherit from themselves. Like, I don't know, Monkey Ball. I guess maybe.
I did also see this technology was good for like mobile games as well.
Oh.
So maybe Sega are looking to like tap into more of the mobile market, because I don't know about you guys, but I don't really know of any Sega mobile games, like big things.
That could be totally it, because mobile's big, especially in markets like China and stuff. So I wonder if they're trying to figure out how to get. Yeah, you know what? That might make the most sense from what we talked about so far, is trying to get their games on mobile through the cloud-based gaming process.
But like trying to tap that market.
Yep. Yeah, like Jessica was saying, I read the words, Sega has announced a strategic alliance with Microsoft, and I thought they were going to vote Nintendo off of like a video game Survivor or something. Like, I don't know. Strategic alliance implies weird things to me. But we'll find out more about that as time goes on. We have one last news story. We won't spend too much time on it. We did talk about Blizzard last week. about the cancellation of BlizzCon and McCree changing his name to Cole Cassidy. But this week, Blizzard came out with another statement talking about Overwatch 2 and Diablo 4 and how those games are going to be very, very delayed, possibly 2023, early 2024 games. The only thing I really have to say is that at this point, I think I'm losing interest in either of these games. And I love Overwatch 1. I play Overwatch 1 to this day. I played for the Halloween event and it was a lot of fun. But we're approaching almost 6 to 7 years since that game's release. And with everything happening at Blizzard right now, I just don't think I'm confident that they're going to deliver a product worthy of an Overwatch 2 name. Mark, what do you think?
All I can say is, ouch. Like, for people that were excited about these games, there is that saying that's often thrown around about delayed games eventually being good. I don't really subscribe to that. And yeah, that, to me, it's a bad sign. I suppose it's good that they maybe want to spend a bit more time on these very well respected and very much loved titles, especially Diablo. They're going to want to really do well with Diablo, but
and you're right. Like when they delayed Halo Infinite, they said, because we want to make this game as good as it can be, because we want to make the campaign amazing, we want to make the multiplayer amazing. This is not that situation. Like, I didn't put it on the news article, but the co-president of Blizzard left since we last talked last week. Like, there's just so much shuffling and people leaving that, like, people are feeling water on their feet. The ship is sinking and people are diving off as fast as they can. They're grabbing the life vest. It's like Titanic. It's just chaos there. So it's not even that they want to make these games better or, have more ideas. It's they don't have the team to work on these games right now, which is very sad and unfortunate.
Yeah, like because I follow Diablo more than Overwatch, like I kind of get that. It's like you just lost your lead. Well, like I don't know if I can't remember if he got fired or if he had to leave.
He left the company. I don't know what happened behind the scenes, but
yeah, I get that because like you might have just lost the creative direction that he wanted to go in. Like the team of reshuffling, like you said, the co-president just left. With the Overwatch situation, I'd be curious to know what you think, Cal, because you play it and I never have. To me, it always seemed like they didn't know what they wanted Overwatch 2 to be, because like why would you need an Overwatch 2?
100%. Like, Overwatch base game is great as it is. Just keep updating the product with new characters and maps and you're fine. If they were going all in on a campaign mode that looked interesting, I would understand it more. But everything they've shown of the campaign, between skill trees and like how you go level to level with different characters, does not really intrigue me. The campaign for Overwatch 2 looks like Marvel's Ultimate Alliance 1 for like PS2, PS3. Like, it just looks like a half-baked campaign and not why I play Overwatch.
Yeah, do you think maybe they're trying to come up with like a big idea that would sell that then?
Yeah, because they keep announcing like new multiplayer modes and like they seem fine, but like just put those in the base game that people already own.
Yeah.
I was somebody who stupidly put a lot of money into loot boxes. Overwatch was my only loot box game. I didn't buy stuff from across 9 different titles. I probably put like $200 into loot boxes at Overwatch before I had to like slap my wrist and tell myself to stop. I don't even know if that stuff carries over to Overwatch 2. Like, to this day, like I don't know what content from the base game is going to make it over to 2, whether it's my playtime per character or if it's like special event skins that were only available one time only that I had to like be up at 2 a.m. to earn. Is that going to carry over to Overwatch 2? Like, I don't know, and I'm not confident that they know either. It's good to note too, like both these games were announced 2019. So these are games that were showed off, I think, at BlizzCon. I forget if Diablo 4 was shown the same year as the mobile Diablo game that got a lot of negative feedback. But honestly, I think these are looking like either 2023, 2024, or games that never come out. That's how I'm feeling about these ones.
Well, personally, I just think, like Jessica, I'm also not a big Overwatch guy. I am kind of, I know a bit about it, but yeah, like why even go for a Overwatch 2? I mean, you can't really compare the two, but if you look at like a game like League of Legends, which came out in 2009 and it's still going strong, they just keep adding more content to it, and that's what they should be doing with, like you said, they should just be doing that with the base game. Add new game modes, add new characters, maps. You can go crazy with it. I think another similar one, not quite the same, but CSGO, Counter-Strike Global Offensive, is also came out ages ago, and they're just killing it still. It's still a very popular game, and yeah, they got no signs of slowing down. And I suppose maybe they are delaying Overwatch to eventually cancel it. Hopefully they don't do it with Diablo, but
yeah. One thing to keep in mind for sure is that I had a thought and I may have lost it. Other service games, like if you think of the most popular service games right now, you think Fortnite, you think Pokemon Go, you think games along those lines. Imagine the gall it would take to be like, we're making Fortnite 2, baby. Like, could you imagine? Like, why wouldn't they just...
My exact thought, like, what's the point? Like, it's already
point?
Super popular. It still has a player base, makes money. Like, why would you... It reminds me of Destiny 2 a bit.
Yeah, yes.
Like, why would you just add the campaign to it? But they just wanted to make more money, sell those discs, get that game. But I feel like it would be a tougher sell with Overwatch because it's just been out for so long.
And one thing as well with Overwatch is that they have completely halted updates for the original game to work on the second one. So people like myself who love the first one, we have no new characters, no new maps. They've been revealed, but they're exclusive to Overwatch 2.
That's really worrying.
Yeah. Like they announced probably while Jeff Kaplan was still at Blizzard, so maybe like 7 months ago, that they're going to stop supporting Overwatch 1 with updates so they could focus on 2. So now the characters and maps, everything's static in Overwatch 1. There's nothing new coming out ever, apparently, for it. Fans who love this game, like I do, just have to wait 3 to 4 years for a sequel that we don't really want.
By that time, there's going to be something else that you're going to like even more, hopefully.
Yeah, I should just get into Dota at this point. Like, I mean, I don't know what else to do. So, like, just more, like, Blizzard right now just seems like a garbage can on fire. Like, I don't know what anyone can do to put it out, but hopefully we have some good news coming from them sooner than later, whether it's like a new representative that will bring good morals to the company as like a new co-president, or if they, I don't know. Hopefully we're getting closer to unionization in games. I really hope between Activision, Blizzard, and everything else happening with all these game companies, even Riot earlier this year, I really hope we're getting closer to being able to protect employee rights.
Yeah, I've also heard about Ubisoft jumping, well, some of your employees there getting in on the action.
Yeah. So time will tell. Unfortunately, Overwatch 2 and Diablo 4 are not coming out this year, but there are still some other games that are. We went through a list of the remaining games that are supposed to be coming out in 2021. Like usual, we each kind of chose our top 3 games we're most looking forward to. I put Jessica on the spot last time. I think Mark went first the time before that, so I'll go first. There aren't a lot of games coming out, so you probably will hear some duplicates on our list, but we'll get there when we get there. The number 3 game I'm looking forward to personally is Battlefield 2042. I'm not a huge FPS guy. Like the last Call of Duty I played was Black Ops 1 for the Wii, which had motion controls. So that says enough about my Call of Duty isms. Battlefield 2042 looks like a lot of fun. So for current gen owners, I believe the maps will be 126 players at one time. And the maps look vast and sprawling, and they're doing like there will be sandstorms or tornadoes that happen halfway through a match. It just looks like, honestly, like just like batshit crazy, and I'm ready for that right now. Like I said, I'm going to play it for fun. I'm not going to be very good at it. I'm going to hop in. I'll probably die 10 times before anybody else on my team dies once. But it kind of just looks like the chill out, let go, explore this world, fly a tank, ride a tank, fly a plane, get sucked into a tornado. It just looks like dumb fun to me. I don't know. Is Battlefield on either of your guys' radars?
Not for me, but I was interested. Do you have like previous history of Battlefield? Because you said it was like a Call of Duty. This just one's really sold it for you.
Something about this one visually, maybe it's because it's on current gen, and like just seeing the visuals of like the sandstorm, and I'm sure on PS5 you'll feel like some vibrations in the controller and stuff. Like it just feels like it looks like fun. I don't think I've played any Battlefields before this one, but yeah, I'm ready to hop in. I might not get it new. I'll probably be for like a used or sale price because it's not something I'm super dying to play, but I am eager to hop in and give it a shot, at least. Mark, what is your number 3?
Well, I'm going to go with, I think they're coming out relatively soon, but the Pokemon Gen 4 remakes. I've always been a big Pokemon fan, and incidentally, Gen 4 was the first gen that I actually, I was a bit older. Well, okay, backstory. When I was a kid, I loved Pokemon. I never had a Game Boy. And when I got a bit older, I could eventually, I saved up and I bought my Nintendo DS. And that was the first gen that I kind of played on my own because I was always borrowing friends' Game Boys and things. So it's got a lot of nostalgic value to me. But I also think in general they had quite a bit of good lore. There are a couple of things that worry me about it. Like I've seen a story about what is it called again? The Battle Frontier not being included in the remakes. But I'm still kind of excited about them because, I don't have my DS anymore. And it's one of those games I like to go back to as well. But
will you be leaning towards Diamond or Pearl, do you think?
Last time I got Pearl, so I think I'll go with Diamond this time.
Awesome.
And it makes a huge difference.
I want to go back real quick and let people know Battlefield comes out November 19th, and so does Pokemon. I just want to get release dates on these games as well, so people listening know. That'll be fun. We might go back to Pokemon in like 8 minutes. Jessica, what is your number 3?
I feel like this one's a wee bit cheating a little bit, but I'm going to say it anyway. Star Wars Knights of the Old Republic for the Switch.
That counts.
Yeah, thank you. I'll take it. It's pretty vanilla pick, but it's my favorite game of all time. Like I love it. I've got it on basically every system you can get it. I've even got it on mobile. So it's literally just another excuse for me to go back in one of my favorite consoles, the Switch, and play it all over again.
I lived with a roommate, and he had an original Xbox and a copy of Knights of the Old Republic, and that was pretty much what he did every single night before bed.
I understand the sentiment. I played that game. I must have replayed it so much when I was younger, just again and again.
Are you hyped for the remaster or for the remake?
Oh yeah, like way more than this, but this is just fun for this year. Play it again, get the story all in again. It's one of my favorite stories. It was one of the first games I think that would really let you commit to being good or being evil.
Yeah.
I was
multiple endings as well. Am I wrong?
Okay. Multiple endings. You could just completely not pick up a character or pick a character. They had really interesting side characters like Bastila and Karth, and even the villains like Darth Malik. He looked really cool. He was the one with like the silver jaw. I just always remember playing it when I was younger, when I was been like 11 or 12.
Because I personally haven't played them, so I've seen people play them and they look great. Would you say it's fair to say that Knights of the Old Republic is like the prototype to what Mass Effect would end up being?
100%. Kind of like, I think Jade Empire kind of like bridged the gap. I remember playing Jade Empire. But yeah, because it was the first one that had romance options, I believe. You had the romance options, you had a bunch of text dialogue instead of the dialogue wheel. You're absolutely right. It's what sold me on Mass Effect to begin with, because it was BioWare working on it.
And you mentioned that Knights of the Old Republic is available on mobile right now, but is there a part of it, is like being on Switch more appealing to you because you won't be using touch controls, you'll be using like actual controllers on the go?
Absolutely. Like I've got it on mobile, but I barely played it. It's kind of just that I need this again. The Switch, like, it's just so portable, and I've got a bigger screen, and like you said, the controls are just, I've got Switch Lights. I'll just take it. Yeah, it's one of my favorite consoles for playing any game on, really. And I'll definitely, I know if I get it on the Switch, I will play it and complete it on, like, if I played it on mobile.
Yeah,
and it comes out November 11th as well.
Yes, thank you for doing that. I've been eyeing it up. I think my first playthrough of this game will be on Switch when it comes out. I'm ready for it to be like my bedtime game. I'll just like hop in bed, play half an hour before I fall asleep, kind of thing. That way, I'm ready to go once the remake comes out, and I can start noticing the differences between the two ports. Have you played Star Wars or this game, Mark?
Admittedly, I own it on Steam, but I've never played it. I've heard lots of great things about it, and I also have watched friends play it back in the day on old school Xbox, the OG Xbox, and yeah, like also quite a nice one for the Switch, I think. I may actually just pick it up on the Switch and play it there because it just makes so much more sense than playing it on a PC, I think. But yeah, it's good to see like BioWare's good stuff getting some love, and I've also heard some comment from them. Don't quote me though, that this might not be the end for the Knights of the Old Republic series.
Yeah, fingers crossed. We'll find out. And like between this game and the GTA trilogy coming to Switch, there's like a lot of games that people never thought they'd see on Nintendo finally coming to Nintendo. It might be a good topic one day just to discuss like games we'd like to see on Switch, like old games we'd like to see on Switch. Because there's definitely a lot I could think of right now. But my number 2 is going to be Pokemon Pearl. I knew this was going to happen. I knew we were going to have duplicates. That's why I asked you if you're Diamond, so I could say the other one.
I will come forward and say it was on my list, but I have a backup. So
that's hilarious. So Pokemon Pearl, I'm looking forward to because I loved Red and Blue. I loved Gold and Silver even more, and I felt really burnt out by Ruby and Sapphire that I did not play Diamond and Pearl when they originally came out. I was burnt out on Pokemon at the time. I thought it was too formulaic and too samey. I do remember playing the first 2 or 3 hours on my brother's DS because he let me borrow it, but I'm really looking forward to going back to an old school Pokemon RPG. Kind of the top down view, the kind of the chibi avatars. Like, I just want something that doesn't striving for realism like Sword and Shield kind of did. Also, when they strive for realism, it doesn't often look very good. You have trees popping up in front of you a feet before you get to them. So I'm just really looking forward to going back and playing these games for the first time. I know people love Diamond and Pearl, and I'm excited to find out why. I think it's the story, and is it Team Galactic, Mark, in that one? Are they the bad guys?
You are. I think you're correct. Yes, but you did have me.
I could look it up. But we'll look
thinking about it for a second. I think it is Team Galactic. It's
I think it's like one of the more evil teams in the franchise history. Like they have like a really dark plan about what they want to achieve.
I don't remember, but we'll find out in I think also just a couple of weeks. When does it come out now?
November 19th. Sorry.
19th.
There's a lot of games coming out this month.
And also, I think, isn't this the one that has like time elements to it? Time and space? Isn't that the...
Yes, time and space.
Legendaries?
Correct.
Yeah.
Correct.
That's why I thought Team Galactic, something like Universal or like some like Galactus stuff is going to start happening.
Yeah, well, it did have, I think, a whole vibe of potential destruction of time and space or something along those lines. So, yeah, I guess we'll see.
Do you know who your starter is going to be?
Oh, wow. Gen 4 starters. I think I initially took little penguin dude.
Oh, yes.
What was his name? Piplup. Yes.
Piplup, yeah.
So maybe this time I will go with, I think it's Turtwig, or the other one was, I don't remember.
Chimchar.
Chimchar, yes.
Yeah.
And he was quite badass. So maybe, I think Turtwig needs some love. So we'll go with him.
What about you, Jess?
I always go water.
Always
starter.
go water?
Yeah. Piplup.
Yep. Piplup is fantastic. Actually, shutting out an old game, Pokken Tournament, the old Pokemon fighting game made by the Tekken people, Empoleon, and the third form of Piplup is a really strong character in that game. That's my number 2, Pokemon Pearl. Mark, what is your number 2 game?
Well, I was just going to go with Halo, since it's also coming out this year. We haven't had some love from that series in a while. So, and obviously Infinite's a very hotly anticipated game. So I'm quite excited for it. And yeah, it is also, I think, coming to Game Pass day one, if I'm not mistaken.
That's one of the reasons I'm most excited for, is because like I'll be able to play it without dropping $80 day one. Yes,
exactly. And that's, I think, going to draw a huge player base. And especially if, like me, you're into, we did speak about the disappointing news that the multiplayer might come a bit later, but regardless, it'll be good to hang out with Master Chief again and, just have at it. So, yeah, I love Halo, so that's one I'm quite excited for as well. I know you guys also have, I think more Jessica than you, Kyle, have some history with the series. So
similar to Battlefield, Yeah, I have not played a Halo campaign. I played some multiplayer at a friend's house. Like I said last week, I think I played the first hour or two of Halo 2's campaign co-op. But like Battlefield, I'm ready to hop into this one. Like I am ready to get into a Halo, find out what all the hype's about. Hopefully this one delivers on all the promises it's making. I know people didn't love 4 and 5, so I'm really hoping this is the comeback story for Halo. What about you, Jess?
Yeah, it's one of my picks. Halo Infinite. It is coming with multiplayer at launch, but it's not coming with co-op. So you can't play the campaign with a friend, which I'm actually a little bit bummed about. It's my preferred way of playing campaign. It's so much fun teaming up with someone.
Yeah, it was always great to team up, and I suppose also if you could do it over like online or whatever, that would be even better.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. But the multiplayer actually is free as well, even if you don't have Game Pass. It's gonna be like kind of like Fortnite's Battle Royale mode where anybody can go in and play the multiplayer. So I think that's cool. I do like that they've taken the extra year to iron out the kinks. It looks awesome. That gameplay the story trailer we saw last week. I'm so excited to go back and play Halo. I am a bit bummed about not having the co-op, but that grapple hook looks awesome. And another thing I really like that they're doing with online is the battle pass. I don't think I've seen anybody else do this, but you can buy previous battle passes even if you've missed it. So if you had an item that you saw and then you haven't played it in a couple of months, but you see it on the battle pass, you can just buy that and then work your way towards that battle pass. Kind of like Marvel's Avengers, where you can just unlock a character's battle pass. So I'm glad that they've implemented that with multiplayer. I am personally more excited for the campaign, though. I love the campaigns. Wish I could play it co-op, but I'm really excited for it when it comes out on December 8th.
This is going to be a really dumb question from a Halo noob, so please excuse this. When you play multiplayer, is everyone Master Chief? Or is everyone just like people in the suits?
No, so it changes within games. So I think it was a Marine in the first one. The second one, you were.
Oh, okay.
Was it a Marine as well? Yeah, they basically just take a character, ODST or another Marine. They just.
But there's like 16 7-foot dudes in green armor just like running around shooting each other. So I wasn't sure exactly what it was.
I think you take the POV of Master Chief, but they see you as a Marine.
Oh, okay.
Is that what it is, Mark?
I think there was some sort of they kind of like super soldiers, so
Oh yeah,
it was almost like
another Spartan. Yeah.
Yeah, it's just another Spartan. Basically, I don't know. I guess you could say Clone War style. You like this really badass super soldier, and yeah, they build like a genetically engineered army, and you're just a random dude, basically.
Yeah,
just wearing the same armor.
Yeah, Halo looks sick. I'm so ready for that game to come out. Between that and Battlefield, I'll have lots of multiplayer to be playing around in. Jessica, what was your number 2? If you still have any left.
On number 2, it was Pokemon, but I did have a backup because I mean it's not out, but people have been playing with it, and that's Forza Horizon 5. It's not actually out for another 2 days, but if you pre-ordered it, I believe, special edition, you got early access to it. And because people have got early access to it, I'm insanely jealous. It just looks incredible. I've dipped into Forza every once in a while. I played Forza Motorsport on the 360. I really liked Horizon 4, but it was kind of like my podcast or my music game. I just stick on something and go driving. Forza Horizon 5 just looks beautiful, looks perfect. And I'm really happy they brought back Spotify integration. So it plays through your radio in the game, which I loved about Forza Horizon 3, but they took out for 4.
The thing that surprises me the most when I'm looking up footage about Forza Horizon 5 is that I didn't realize that car games could be funny.
Like, yeah, Bantosaurus Rex.
There's that, and then you can have the Windows XP shutoff sound as your horn.
Oh, they have so many good horn sounds. Like there's the team sound as well. Yeah.
There's like the Windows 10 error sound. Like everything is there from Microsoft. It looks like a lot of fun. I'm not a car guy. I don't drive. If somebody asks me what kind of car someone is, I'll say it's a red one, probably.
I know absolutely nothing about cars, and this looks
fun. It looks like a lot of fun. And I almost put it in news because I thought it was very, very cool what they're doing with their accessibility options in this game. Forza Horizon 5 is the first AAA game to have on-screen sign language interpreters for cutscenes, which I really hope becomes a staple for every game moving forward. It's crazy that it took us this long to get here, but sign language is such a useful thing to have in your game, especially for gamers who are hard of hearing. I just think it looks fantastic, and I think it's such a cool idea, and I really think it's going to kind of revolutionize accessibility moving forward in games.
Agreed. Yeah, it was really good implementation, and I actually crazily saw some people complaining about that online, but you
I
don't
mean,
need
it's
to use
optional.
it. Yeah, exactly. You don't need to use it. It's there for people
Yeah,
that need it. You don't even need to turn it off. It's just not
yeah.
there.
I just think
Um,
it probably doesn't cost the company much to record a sign language interpreter to film the cutscenes dialogue. Like, it probably costs the studio like a day of recording and like a day's worth of pay. Like,
yeah,
it's not a huge hurdle.
I hated that reasoning as well. Like it's been getting like 10 out of 10s, 9 out of 10s, and you you think that they wasted time on the sign language. Like, yeah, it's stupid. Just wanted to call out how dumb that was. And yeah, I agree, Kyle. It was really cool to have that implemented in it. And it's out November 9th officially. And it is also coming to Game Pass.
Uh, so my number one pick is going to be not a AAA game. It's more of an indie pick. I'm really looking forward to Solar Ash, the newest game from the Hyperlight Drifter dev team. I'm not sure if you guys have seen trailers for this one or not, but it looks like a cosmic journey with amazing music, some platforming, some cool boss fights. It kind of just looks like what I look for in a game. It seems like Solar Ash is going to be delivering almost all of that. I actually haven't even played Hyperlight Drifter. I have it on my PS4. It's a game I always look at, but without even playing the development team's previous games, Solar Ash could be my game of the year. I see the potential. When I watch the trailers, it reminds me of Outer Wilds in a way, and just kind of the atmosphere and the space and the art design. So I think that game has really high potential. I know Hyperlight Drifter is pretty much universally acclaimed, so I do have pretty high expectations for Solar Ash as well. Is this game on either of your guys' radars at all?
Well, it is now. It looks really cool. I don't know, just almost like a 3D Hyperlight Drifter in a way.
Exactly.
And yeah, just the aesthetic is incredible, and I think it's got a lot of potential, as you said. Yeah, it's definitely on my radar now. Hadn't really thought about that one. But yeah, I'll go with my number one pick.
Awesome.
And yeah, sadly, the one I had actually wanted to talk about only comes out next year, and just fact checking myself here.
It counts.
Yeah.
We'll do it.
I was going to go with Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Shredder's Revenge. It's coming out sometime next year.
And that's the game from the Scott Pilgrim game dev team, right? Like the people who made that Scott Pilgrim fighting game, I think is also working on Shredder's Revenge.
Yeah, it could be. I can't say for sure. But it's just wonder, growing up with that kind of game, the side-scrolling beat 'em up style game like Streets of Rage and that kind of thing. They have seen a bit of a resurgence these days as well, which is nice as somebody from that era. And of course, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles were always like one of my favorites cartoons and just characters growing up. So it's good to see them also getting a new game in 2021. Maybe they aren't as popular as they once were, but yeah, and just the style of game as well. I like a good beat 'em up now and again. So yeah, it's one I'm really looking forward to. The animations look incredibly charming. Soundtrack sounds also quite cool. Like it's very old school styled. So yeah, your mileage might vary, but yeah.
It seems like it's the spiritual successor to Turtles in Time that we never got. Which Turtles in Time is probably the game I rented the most as a child. Like my brother and I would pick it up, we'd get controllers, we'd try and beat the whole game in one sitting, going from the bridge in Brooklyn, I think, all the way to Shredder's Castle at the end. And this looks like a nice attempt at recreating that energy or that vibe. And like you were saying, Mark, between River City Girls and other 2D beat 'em ups, like the genre is coming back in a fun way, which is exciting.
Oh yeah, it could be that spiritual successor you were looking for. That I was going to say that Turtles in Time still holds up really well today, but maybe not quite with the graphical fidelity that we're seeing with this new one. Yeah, I'm just a sucker for good pixel art and animation and some good chiptune sounding music. So It's one
And
I'm really looking forward to.
I could be wrong, but I think they announced that you're not just playing as the Turtles. I think can you play as April O'Neil and some other characters as well? Casey Hudson is that a character from Ninja Turtles? Casey Hudson.
Yeah, Casey was one of the characters, but it sounds like you might know a bit more about it than I do. I just know there's a new Turtles game coming out, and I think that's really exciting. And yeah, it would be really neat to have a couple extra characters, especially April and Casey. He was a dude with a hockey stick and like kind of Jason marks that used to kind of help them out.
Right. I could be wrong. I bought that Scott Pilgrim game once it finally came back to us earlier this year because I think it was delisted for almost 7 years where nobody could play it legally. And I'm very confident that that team is going to be working on the Shredder's Revenge, and people love that Scott Pilgrim game. So
it is. I think it's definitely the same developer. Don't know if it's the same team, but it's definitely the same developer. They also did Mercenary Kings as well.
Oh,
don't know if
cool.
you ever played that one.
I saw people play it, but I didn't play it myself.
That's the only one of theirs I've ever played. It was
cool.
pretty fun. I think it was a PlayStation Plus game at one point. One of the first. I remember that. It was fun.
Yeah, with the Turtles game, I'm looking forward to like some multiplayer. Like I don't like playing those games single player most of the time unless I'm like really, really into it. That's gonna be like me and my brother and my girlfriend or whoever. We'll sit down, we'll play a few levels, we'll jam out to the music, have a good time. Jessica, what was your number one pick for games you're looking forward to this year?
Well, it was Halo, but
right.
I am willing to shuffle things up a little bit, so it might not be my number one, but this is another one, like probably your Battlefield pick. I've never played a Shin Megami Tensei game before, but I'm probably going to get stones thrown at me, but I like Persona, so I got into Persona. My little brother's really into Shin Megami Tensei, along with just... it does look similar to Persona for me. It's a huge JRPG. I haven't played a JRPG in a really long time. It comes out November 12th, which is a day after Star Wars Knights of the Old Republic, which is the only thing where I'm like, do I get it? Do I not get it? But I think I will because it just looks so good. It's just got those traditional JRPG turn-based combat that you just crave every once in a while that you want to play. I'm excited for it for the first time ever for a Shin Megami Tensei game.
That's awesome. And in full transparency, SMT5 was my number 3 game until my Persona 5 Royal incident this week, and then I just crossed it off. I don't have time for JRPGs anymore.
No, you've been burnt now. It's crossing over to other games.
I was so ready to time out my Persona playthrough to finish before SMT so I could just segue right into it. No, never mind. I gotta play another 60 hours of Persona 5 again before I can do anything else. So
well, yeah, also that was one that almost made my list, but to be honest, I think it's also because I haven't really played any Persona games or even Shin Megami Tensei games, but it does look like that, like you said, Jessica, the traditional turn-based style that and Atlas, of course, does that very well. And I've heard only good things about the whole monster mashing kind of effect. So I'd like to try it out. And yeah, I didn't really know enough about it to actually talk about it too much. So
I do like it. Oh no, go ahead.
If you like Pokemon and some of the mechanics that are in there, you will find some of that stuff in SMT, which is very cool. Like you're catching monsters, you're not evolving them, you're fusing them to create better and stronger options. But there is some crossover between the two series, which is nice.
I do like that it's got slightly like a more, like I've heard that it's slightly more adult than Persona stuff. It looks a bit more horror-y, which is probably why it's drawing me in. I do like the fusing mechanics of it. I remember in Persona 5, though, getting a little bit sad whenever I had to get rid of Personas who I had to combine together. But because I'm a Pokemon fan, I want to catch them all. So I was fusing them together and killing them. But that's interesting to me. I like that. I like the turn-based. Like I said, it looks like it's ticking all those JRPG boxes for me. That is probably currently putting it off for you, Kyle. But because it's been so long since I've played a JRPG, I really want to get it.
Yeah, the only thing that intimidates me about this kind of game is they are huge time sinks, and I don't know how long SMT5 is going to be, but yeah.
I've heard 80 to 90 hours from the reviews I've read so far.
Well, that's maybe more than I want to invest in a game, but yeah, let's be honest, the calendar, depending on what you want to play this year, it's a bit thin until next year. We've got a lot of exciting stuff coming out next year, including my number one pick for this year. But yeah.
No, there were supposed to be a lot of really great games coming out these last few months. A lot of them have been delayed till at least February 2023, and that includes like Horizon Forbidden West. Obviously, Zelda is coming out at some point. We don't know when, but some point soon, hopefully. So save your money now while you can, because the first 3 months of 2022 look like they could be very, very expensive. So those were our picks for the games from this year we are still looking forward to, and even one from next year just because we could. I want to thank you guys for joining me this week, Jessica and Mark. It's always great talking games with you guys. Is there anything you guys want to plug real quick before we end the show today? Jessica?
I'm just currently doing some Doctor Who reviews. If anybody is a fellow nerd like me and loves Doctor Who, if you want to check those out at KeenGamer, I'm going to be doing them for every episode this season.
Awesome. Mark, do you have anything you want to plug real quick?
Well, besides the podcast, not really this week. It's been a bit of a slow one, but maybe next week I'll have something more interesting to draw your attention to.
Yeah, absolutely. And just for fun, I'll say if you want to watch me play games, I'm at twitch.tv/Shamikai, CHAMAIKY. I played through all 5 Metroid games leading up to Metroid Dread's release. I have no idea what I'm going to do next, but I'm sure it'll be fun and embarrassing on my half. For everyone listening, if you haven't yet, please check out KeenGamer.com. We're a fantastic website. We have amazing reviews written by the panel here. We have amazing opinion pieces. It's really a great site, so we recommend you check it out. I hope everyone has a good week, and we'll be back next week for some more talk about games on the Keen Gamer podcast. Bye, everyone.